Right, I might have forgotten I had a Range Rover Evoque. I know people are saying, Simon, don't forget you've got a Range Rover Evoque. Here it is. We've done the light bar though, we've given it some love, and we've got a Discovery Sport. We haven't given that any love. Right, but Land Rover, I haven't forgotten, I've got an Evoque. Look, I've had to fold the paper because you don't want my address. Right, and look, it says Simon Jefferson. And it says, look, we're conducting a non-safety recall. They're the best. I don't even know what that means, but right, right, free of charge, we like that bit, to certain 2012 to 2017 model year Range Rover Evoque. I think mine's 2011, but I think we're sort of, it's a 2012 model year, but there you go. Whatever, found on certain vehicles, corrosion may occur of the electric power steering gear motor. Now this is a video we've been meaning to do. So basically on the Range Rover Evoque and the Discovery Sport, you have got a steering rack. We know that. You turn the steering wheel and it makes the end shaft moves and your wheels turn. And it's got an electric motor. So you used to have power steering where you'd have some fluid and a pump, but the trouble is that would drain power because it was going all the time. So they've now got these funky electric power steering, and there's a little motor that sits on the steering rack and it goes, oh, I can see Simon's turning now, and it gives me a little hand. It whirs this little motor and helps me turn, which is really good. And it can do it at different speeds. It can give you different assistance. Electric power steering, thumbs up, we like it. But there's 3 bolts holding the power steering motor onto the steering rack, and there's a little belt that goes round, and that's what, as it turns, it helps you steer. But they made the bolts out of something like aluminium. I don't know why you'd make a bolt out of aluminium, and I think they're asking themselves the same question, because it turns out the aluminium bolts corroded, and then the motor would go plop, and then you'd lose power steering. Now that was okay, but in some situations the little belt that would turn around would get its knickers in a twist, and it would all like, and you could lose steering. Didn't happen much, but apparently it did happen. So Land Rover in Canada, the Canadian authorities forced Land Rover to do a recall in 2018. Again, this is all just my knowledge. Don't sue me if I get it wrong, but I'll put some screenshots up. And there's actually a petition going for the UK to get the same thing done. So people out there will have already incurred great costs. So a new steering rack, I'll put a screenshot up, is at least £2,000. Land Rover do a recon one that's 1,600 plus VAT plus fitting. So if this goes on you, you are in big trouble. But Land Rover are now going to do your bolts for free. So get on to Land Rover, ring them up and say, why haven't I had a letter like Simon telling me I can have these bolts replaced? And they're going to replace these aluminium-y whatever bolts with zinc plated steel ones, which are going to not corrode and rust, and your motor won't fall off and you won't lose power steering, which is brilliant. Now we are going to go and try and put the Evoque up on the ramps and see if we could have a look. Now our Evoque, like me, doesn't get out much, so it probably isn't very corroded. Maybe we should see if we could get the Discovery Sport going. Should we do that, Kate? Kate's nodding. Let's get the Discovery Sport going. Let's get him up on the ramp, because he's done poop loads of mileage. What year is he? 2015. There, let's get the Discovery Sport on charge, and let's see if we can drive him up the ramps. Maybe this will spur us into doing some case. You gotta do it. Right, we started as Evoque love. We've swapped over to Discovery. Right, let's get on the ramps. Enough waffle. Right, we've come up to Mr. Cobb's garage. We've stolen his ramp while he wasn't looking. Right, so we can see we've got the track rod ends here on our Discovery Sport, and then we can see up in there, there we've got the steering arm coming down, but it looks like the motor is on the driver's side. It looks like we've got some cables. It's the passenger side. Well done, Kate. It looks like we've got a load of cables coming down to something here, but we can't. No, we probably can't. It looks like it's that side, but we can't see anything because we've got this big engine cover on. Right, I think we're going to have to go in. I think we're going to have more chance going in through the side, in through the wheel arch liner there, because this is the front subframe. This isn't an underbody guard. This goes everywhere. So I think I can see the bolts, but we'll go back to the workshop. We'll jack up this wheel, take this wheel off, and we'll have a look inside and see if we can see the bolts from in there. I'd like to see the bolts on this one and see if they are corroded so I can show you. So let's zip back to the workshop. Thank you, Mr. Cobb. Right, we have got the Discovery Sport in the workshop. It needs to spend more time in here. Right, enough said, it's on an axle stand. Safety first, boys and girls. Right, what are we doing? So come round here, come round here. We will have a look. So I've got it jacked up. I need to take the wheel off. And then if you look in here, you can see you got the track rod in, you got this. And if you get down here, Kate, yeah. Can you see I've coloured 2 of the bolts in orange there? There's a third one somewhere. Now, I'm going to let Land Rover have the privilege of taking all 3 of those out, but we'll try and take an easy one out and have a look what this corrosion's all about. So this car, 2015, so it should have seen some corrosion. It's done 100,000 miles. It's been through the wars. It looks generally pretty sort of rustified, doesn't it? Yeah. So you'd think if anyone's had a hard life, it's got nice new discs on him, Kate. We haven't really had this apart yet, have we?
Well, they look very rusty.
They're rusty, but plenty of meat on. We're not worried about a bit of rust. We don't mind that. Right, let's have a look then. So I've got my super long extension. It's a Torx T45. I reckon I can get on that top one in there. Right then. Are they going to shear? What are Land Rover going to do if I take it into them with a sheared bolt? Let's have a look. Oh, actually one thing. Come and have a look what I found, Kate. I found this. I bought this a while ago. Look. Britpart do a kit, and that's the drive belt that joins the motor to the, and these are the new shiny non-aluminium bolts that you can put in. Now obviously Britpart's sales of this should go down now because the recall should be replacing them all. We'll see. There we go. Right then, we like Britpart. They're all right. Right then. So let's have a go. Like, this is just first off. Here we go. Oh, he's not fighting, is he?
No, he seems to be moving.
He's either
trying to get it on the camera.
Oh no, I think he's sheared. I think he has sheared. I think we've pooped it. We're gonna have to give Land. Maybe not. No, maybe I spoke too early. I think these are the right bolts. I think this is what everyone's. We'll have a look at the Britpart kit, shall we? So now they don't
look the same.
They don't. Obviously, they're not the same. These are they're quite lightweight though. They do feel. Right, how do we check if it's magnetic? How do we check if it's magnetic? Oh, I gave it away there, Kate. I was going to test you. How do we check if it's steel or aluminium? If it's magnetic, you knew the answer. Here we go. Look, there's no magnetism going on there. So that is, look, and that is the ones, isn't it? So they did indeed make the bolts out of aluminium. But to be fair to Land Rover, there is no sign of any corrosion on that one, is there?
No.
So they've got an easy job. But should we leave the orange on?
Yeah.
Those workshop boys love my orange. We know who we're talking about, my boys at Grange. Right then, we love them dearly, don't we? Right, so there you go. So get your Land Rover booked in, get your bolts changed, and that'll stop your motor falling off. And that's a good job. And don't make bolts out of aluminium. Right, enjoy. Kate's just said, what? How is that going to take 2 days? Because Kate is the proud owner of a Discovery Sport also. And she's also, I said, well, you better check your car out because you just bought it. And sure enough, her car needs new bolts as well. And the dealer has said, yeah, leave it with us for a couple of days. So Kate's like, 3 bolts, 2 days, what's going on there then? Now, I said, well, maybe we can see 2 of the bolts. I've got no idea where the third one is. I've had a proper rummage. So unless they've put it in one of those inconceivable, why the hell did you put a bolt there sort of places? They probably have. There's probably 10 minutes for 2 of the bolts and 2 days for the last bolt. But I thought, while we're here and we're having a little run, let me see if I can't get on that other one there. And then we'll have a look. Maybe some bolts are more prone to corrosion than others. Let's have a look if this one here, maybe he's weathered more. Right then, we're on. Right, and let's have a look. Oh, he's moving. They go very soft, very, almost like he's sheared, but it was a bizarre. Oh, let's have a rummage in here. Well, maybe.
Let's see if you can fit in the wheel.
I mean, to be fair, if I just changed 2 bolts myself, I'd be happy. Because that would be, 2 bolts would hold it on, wouldn't it? I'd rather have 2 steel bolts than 3 aluminium ones. There you go. But look, He's got no sign of corrosion as well. You can feel it's a super light bolt. I mean, I don't think making the bolts out of aluminium was going to make the car super lightweight. I know every little bit helps and all that, but I'm still baffled. Maybe someone will tell me why aluminium bolts are a good idea. So if you are going to replace your bolts and you're not using Land Rover's kindly offered warranty service, you could just replace 2, and then I could sleep at night knowing I've got 2 steel bolts in, even if that tricky third one, leave him be. Right, enjoy.